everybody, and welcome to the PR podcast, helping you guys master your bodies and raising your PRs in and outside the gym. I'm here with my two amazing hosts, Morgan and Anabel. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Great.
Good.
Sweet.
Fantastic.
So before
Ready
every
to roll.
podcast, you guys never see this because we don't put it on camera, but we like to take a little shot to kind of help loosen, get the juices flowing before
One or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
Just
we're
one.
more lightweight than Annie is, and she's literally the smallest out of all of us. And Morgan is
I'm just out angled.
And Morgan's
Yeah.
the lightest of weights.
Lightweight.
Where we have to keep toning him down. He actually has a. He's the only person who has to weigh out his.
we have a
alcohol.
dropper.
What? Could you explain to me what that is, please?
A dropper.
dropper.
You've seen it, like what you give like pets, like when they have their medicine.
So Morgan he's on 10 drops right now. So we're trying to find the perfect ratio for him.
Yeah.
So today, if you guys are looking, we have the Sexton whiskey. Hit all the cameras over here. So pretty cool whiskey I picked up.
I think I like this one better because what did we have before? Buffalo?
Buffalo Trace was the last whiskey we had.
I feel like this one's a little bit stronger than the other one.
It's well, I think the Buffalo Trace is a little bit smoother, and so I think this was a
Because
little.
we upped your dose.
Yeah, we give you a little more drops.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but cool story.
I'm just kidding. No,
these
it is.
people that make this whiskey, they used to dig the graves at graveyards. That's what they did. They used to dig the graves and put the tombstones up, and then end up converting and making whiskey. Yeah, they ended up start making barrels and stuff like that. So
Not bad. It's tasty.
it's delicious. How's you guys' morning though?
Good. It's Saturday. It's sunny. It's a beautiful day in summer. California.
Yeah. Had
All
a nice
that.
walk with Butch. Did a hour
Aw.
walk this morning.
Who's Butch?
Butch, my dog.
Oh,
my dog. Little pit bull.
For those of
Who
y'all that
knows?
don't know,
He's cute.
It's funny because
he's cute.
He
I
has to get his
follow
gains up.
him.
Yeah.
I follow
At
him on
Boo
Instagram.
Cheeto. At Boo Cheeto.
oh, he has his own Instagram.
Yeah, he does.
does.
Wow, how many
Yeah.
followers does he have?
Like thousands.
Should I give my dog an Instagram?
I don't know. Why not?
I follow a few dogs on Instagram.
Oh, I do
Yeah,
too.
I follow like some Belgian Malinoises. I follow a husky.
Your dog needs friends.
Yeah.
I say you make it.
I got to make one for Athena.
Does Sophia and
Athena.
Jameson have one?
They don't. They should have a dual one though.
They
'cause
should.
Between the two of them, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed.
Well, only you're obsessed.
That's rude. That's rude.
I like Jameson.
just Jameson.
Just Jameson. I like him for his name and his big floppy ears.
Oh,
Okay,
he's so
What kind of
cute.
dog is Jameson?
He is a Beagle, Cocker Spaniel, Chihuahua, Lhasa Apso mix.
So he's a mutt.
He's a mutt. So is Sophia.
You know what? It's funny because back in the days when a dog used to be a mutt, they used to just like give him away for free. But nowadays, if you give the dog a name, you could charge a lot for it, like a Pomsky, like Pomeranian
Okay.
and a Husky. Like back
Yeah.
in the day, they used to call it a mutt, just give it away. But now it's like, oh no, if you give it a name, then you could charge like $3 to $5 for it. People are catching on.
Mine are rescues.
There's nothing bad with being a mutt, though.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
they're
we're all
adorable.
We're all mutts. I'm
We're
a
all
mutt.
mutts.
Yeah.
I did my
Hella.
DNA, and when I got that thing back, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
got
my-
my results back, by the way.
Oh.
yeah.
What are you?
Tell us.
It's confidential.
You're like, some things I'm not proud of. I got to touch my
Mine wasn't that much of a surprise. Yeah.
I have to say this: I'm 1% Congo.
Oh, me
Hey.
too. It's all in your ass.
Well, I was 5% Congo.
That's what it is. Whatever. That's what my sister told me.
Okay, I'm sure she did.
She did. Anyways.
Your sister told you that Morgan
Yeah, because
is what?
that mine.
Oh.
Because I'm 1% Congo as well. Oh my gosh.
I think
Okay.
everyone has a little bit. You know?
Yeah, I had 5.
Some other
That's where we
country.
get it from. So
I had 5%. I was very happy. I enjoyed that. So today's topic is going to be on motivation. I think the best way to start off is to give the simple definition of motivation. So I pulled it up here on the Google,
The internet machine.
the internet. I surfed it a little bit. Motivation is a reason for people's actions, willingness, and goals. Motivation is derived from the word motive, which is defined as a need that requires satisfaction. These needs could be wants or desires that are acquired through influence of culture, society, lifestyle, etc., or general innate. And I think this is a super solid definition. I feel like it's pretty well rounded. I mean,
I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider the cultural part of it. That's huge.
Yeah, and I think that's due to social media. Like people are getting more influenced by other people, their cultures, and just different things around the world. But I think that's awesome to get influenced by different cultures, because just like we just got in speaking about this whole DNA thing, like we have a little bit of everything in us. Like people who just think they're Hispanic, or people who just think they're Asian, and so on and so forth. We're all mixtures of different things. Like this weekend, Bree and I were at an Indian Bengali wedding, and obviously the culture compared to like the traditional American wedding is completely different. And I thought,
I'm just gonna say real quick,
Yeah.
they have amazing food.
Yeah.
I love their food.
Indian food.
Oh yeah.
it's selected taste buds, I guess.
No, dude.
So it's about
it's
lunchtime right
amazing.
now. I vote that we go for Indian for
Get some
lunch.
naan.
So I got like a little bit of everything, because they had a lot of food. You know, there's like buffet style, so you just go and grab as much as you want. And so I got like a little bit of everything, and I don't know. It just wasn't for my taste buds.
Hey, you're just not a cultured man.
Dang, I'm so dull.
He's used to chicken, broccoli, and rice.
Yeah,
so
exactly. That's what it is.
My taste buds are so underdeveloped now, just because that's all I eat, that when I have all these like spices and flavors, and I'm just like, what is this?
it's like a kid, because kids don't
Wow.
develop their taste buds till a little
So
bit
I'm
later in
devolving.
life.
I'm devolving.
Not devolving.
I'm going backwards.
I don't think you're going backwards.
I need to
think
expose myself
you're-
to more foods.
You
now.
just adapted to the way of
I was
your
yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah, which is probably
Just
good
bland.
for you.
my stomach wasn't too happy with it either.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's for possibly the same reason.
Let's
Like-
skip over that part. Okay.
No, I want to go into detail about this.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But I'll tell you one thing for sure. Their dessert bar, though, fire.
Baklava? Is that one of their?
You know what? I've never had their like desserts.
It was amazing. I don't know what the heck this stuff was.
That's what we need
There
to
was like
do.
this one thing. It was like a little like it was like Twinkie shaped, but very, very small. And like you cut into it, and like liquid sugar literally fell out of it.
And you ate that?
I had a bite
Oh.
because it was so
How,
sweet.
how
say.
vascular were you
Wow.
after
Man,
that?
all my forearms were just like looked like lightning bolts from all the sugar. But it was amazing.
That's when you
though.
took all the selfies.
Yeah.
You're like, Bree, come on, let's go take the picture right
Yeah.
now.
We need it.
Let me pull my sleeves up.
Yeah.
No,
Cool.
it was interesting though, and like just the whole ceremony itself was obviously completely different. The music was amazing, like, and they had people actually come and do like the cultural dances and
Ah,
performances, and yeah, it was cool. It was interesting.
How fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so culture influences motivation. That's what we're getting back to.
Yeah.
So, and I think you had a theory, right, that you wanted to share?
About culture.
Yeah, intrinsic theory about motivation.
You want to speak on mine?
I can read it.
Oh, the actual. Oh yeah, this
Or a quote,
the
sorry.
instinct
sorry.
theory.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry, you worded it wrong. Threw me off. And the instinct theory about motivation. So it says, according to the instinct theory of motivation, all organisms are born with innate biological tendencies that help them survive. This theory suggests that instincts drive all behavior. So it's pretty much saying that every human instinctively has or wants or craves motivation. And I think that's great. I think that's why humans, we yearn for it. We want something to be motivated about. And when we do find something that motivates us, it feels good. Like we don't even have to really do much. Like we could just listen to a motivational speaker or like, a video, or we can see something that's motivating online, and it'll give us like that dopamine flush, and we'll kind of
all
get
the excitement.
yeah, we'll get like the
things that
goosebumps on our
happen.
skins, and we'll get the rapid heartbeat, and we're like motivated. Yeah. But then like 10 minutes later, most people kind of lose that motivation. So we have to find the consistency that goes along with it. And that's kind of why we're kind of getting this podcast going to kind
Yeah.
of
So
help
what
people out with
about for the people that say motivation isn't real?
that. Right.
It's bullshit. It doesn't exist.
Right.
So what's up? Is it even
So
a
I
thing?
think
Is it
I
real?
agree.
Is
I
motivation
agree.
real?
It's
Is
It's
it?
not something that we could physically touch, but just like the human spirit, or just like love, like I kind of put it in that category. Like it's something that everybody has, everybody needs. And I feel, it's real, because there's times I feel motivated as hell. And as long as I act upon it within that time, and I have the consistency to follow through with it, motivation gets everything started. That's what gets everything going. And I feel like it's real.
So I
as hell.
appreciate that you said that it gets it started.
Right.
But I always hashtag like on a lot of my posts, like discipline over motivation, because motivation, that's what gets your like heart pumping. That's what gets the goosebumps. That's everything. But if you don't take that, hone in on that motivation and then create disciplines or create routines around it, then motivation is not going to last all that long for you, you know, or you're going to have to keep finding more and more different things to be motivated from.
Yeah. And you have to remember that feeling that you got during that motivational, like that flood, because there's a lot of times that people, they wake up and they're tired and they're beat down from their day and they're like, oh, I'm not really too motivated no more. But you have to try to remember that feeling, because that's when the big changes happen, is when you're doing stuff that matters when you don't want to do it.
Do you think motivation is real?
I think motivation is bullshit. Not
Whoa.
like
Whoa. Table flip.
I think you guys don't know what you guys are talking about. No, I think motivation is real. I think, like you guys said, it's what gets you started. You know, sometimes there are days, for example, when I don't feel like going to the gym, or I don't feel like doing even like adult stuff, when you have to go do stuff, but you just have to do it. So I think that's where discipline comes in, and you have to build habits in the long run to keep you going.
Yeah, there's a quote that my brother told me, and he says, motivation is like bathing. You have to do it daily. And I hope we're all bathing daily. And
I would argue against that. I don't think you have to do motivation daily.
If you have goals, I feel like there should be something that drives you daily.
Yeah, but I think that's where discipline and habits come in. I think motivation is going to get it started. You don't need motivation daily. Because there's days when I go,
that push to start button on your car.
Like, there's days when I go to the gym, I'm not motivated, but I know I got to get it done.
Right.
I'm disciplined, and it's a habit. It's just part of me.
Correct.
So I think, but I don't think you need motivation.
Yeah, I guess it really kind of depends on the day sometimes. Because same thing. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I do like, you know, my cardio or my workout because I know I need to do it. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm fired up and I want to go and, you know, kill this workout. But I'm like, I'm waking up. I go, okay, I know I got to do this. Let's get this shit done.
You're just disciplined.
Yeah. And,
so you have to do this because you have a goal,
I have
right?
a goal in mind. Correct. But
cool.
But there are some days where I do wake up and I kind of crave that motivation. So I'll purposely put on like a motivational, like a YouTube video, or I'll find something that like a song that I know will motivate me.
External motivation.
Yeah. I'll purposely put myself through that just so I could get that flood of motivation. So I guess it depends on the day for me. Sometimes I do want it, and sometimes I don't need it, because for that same reason, for that consistency and that dedication that I do have for my goal.
So, and I think if we can talk specifics, let's maybe each of us like share our specific goals that we're talking about right now. Because I think like my goal right now is just health, strength, and wellness. So my motivation is going to be a little bit different, because if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, like I had in mind that I wanted to do cardio, but I don't feel like doing cardio, then I'm not going to do cardio. I'll just do like some weightlifting faster and lighter, something different. maybe if I feel like drinking whiskey, Morgan, I will.
Shots.
I had 2 shots. You guys had 1.
Yeah. And
so what's your guys' goals and what?
Yeah. So what motivates you, Annie? What motivates you right now?
Seeing numbers like increase on my strength, like that motivates me, making sure like I stay as healthy as I can. So, and for me, that means not only not being sick, but being like well, feeling good, like mentally, physically, moving well. Like it's not so much about moving weight exclusively. Like that's like my biggest thing, but I like the fact that I can, because I work a desk job, and prior to working my desk job, like I was a student full time. So full-time student, worked full-time also. So I'm sitting the whole time. Luckily, I have a stand-up desk. So just being able to move well, like making sure I'm not getting used to like, okay, I'm sitting all day at work and then I go home and I sit. Like I am motivated by like, let me break what I know like is hindering so many people, like people that have desk jobs, like they go home and they have chronic back pain. They're mentally fatigued. So then they don't feel that they can physically put themselves through like a workout or something that they need to do that's going to better them. So that's my motivation, like health, wellness, just moving well, moving heavy weight. And part of it is aesthetic too, because health translates to like, I want to make sure like I'm doing the things that are going to give me good skin, that are going to give me like nice muscle tone, gains.
So pretty much you're saying laziness is a big problem.
Yeah.
To put it blunt, people are lazy. There's a lot of lazy ass people out there who get home from a long ass day. They're stressed out. They're tired. I mean, like you said, they've been sitting on their butt all day and they want to go home and they know they can work out. They know they can physically move, but they don't want to.
Yeah, they haven't found the right motivation. They haven't
Correct.
found the route, like spark.
Yeah. And for me, like I have long-term and short-term goals, and they each need to be motivated differently. Like my long-term goal is obviously just to be as healthy as I can, continue. I want to be 50, 60, 70 years old, still working out, some type of fitness. You know, I want to still have good mobility, good flexibility. I want to be healthy and happy and energetic to do stuff I love at old ages, you know, my kid, grandkids, whatever it may be. That's my long-term goal. Short-term goal right now, I'm on competition prep. October 12th, Muscle Beach. Come see me. Anyways. And so that's my short-term goal. So my short-term goal is obviously to do my weight training, make sure I'm staying on track with my macros, making sure I'm hitting every single workout and not, you know, I'm not Mickey Mouse in anything. I'm not.
And you have a plan
corners.
that you're following and a coach that's
Exactly.
kind of keeping
Yeah,
you
I have my
accountable,
coach,
and
Daniel
friends
Ziegler.
and family.
Exactly. Who knows how to keep me on track. He keeps me accountable. And that's my short-term motivation. I think my long-term is a great story that I'll kind of get into in a few minutes. But I think it's great to kind of help people, because my story is what a lot of people are going through when it comes to struggling with weight and anxiety and stuff like that.
Before you move into that, could you give us some details of your short-term motivation? Like,
yeah, so that comes down to what I spoke on earlier, is waking up and being just exhausted. You know, I'm at a caloric deficit. And so my energy levels are lower. And so I do need more motivation nowadays because of that.
So do you have like a ritual
What do
to
you
get you motivated?
Yeah. So I work out usually at night. The good thing is I've been working out at night for such a long time. My body knows what time I work out. So I'll be like tired around like 3, 4, 5 p.m. And then when around like 8 o'clock comes around, my body kind of like wakes itself
Second
up.
wind.
Yeah. It's so weird. Like my body just, it knows. I like that sound effect.
Yeah, I know. I was like, do it again.
So,
Okay.
and so, yeah, so I have a playlist, like a workout playlist on my phone with songs that are super old, songs that are new that I know just get my fucking heart rate up. Songs that I don't even have to work out to. I would just listen to it on the way to the gym, and they'll just get me going. And
A lot of Beyonce.
the queen. And so that's easy motivation. That's easy, quick, because I already know what's gonna get me pumped up. And then along in that playlist, I have motivational speeches as well, like people just talking, yelling in my ear, because I grew up an athlete my entire life, so I'm very used to being instructed by another person. You know, I love having that accountability by someone else, even if it is just an audio recording and somebody just yelling in my ear, you know, like, push it, come on, let's go, you know, you're the best, you know, be number one. Because obviously that's what I'm doing. I'm here to be number one. I don't compete to you know, take second place again. You know, so that's definitely, you know, that's like easy motivation, man, is having that short-term goal and just knowing that there's somebody better than me out there is motivating as hell, but not in a bad way. I enjoy it. I enjoy knowing that there's other natural athletes that are better than me, because that shows me that there's more levels that I could reach myself. And so I love that shit.
How about you, Morgan? What's your current goals? What motivates you? Both of those questions, 2 separate parts.
My current goal, or lifetime goal, is just be healthy, be able to, I love lifting weights. So I just want to be able to lift weights until I'm a grandpa, you know, if I ever have kids. But be a grandpa, I'm old. I just want to be lifting weights forever. Short term, I guess I don't have, damn, this is bad. I don't have a set goal, but just to get stronger every single month. That's it. Like, I want to get stronger, I want to get bigger. That's pretty much it.
Well, that means you're actively doing your long-term goal right now. That's what you're doing. You're actively in the middle of your long-term goal.
So yeah, because my goal is not like, I don't have I do have a competition, but I don't see that as that's not what motivates me. Because no matter what, like, okay, I do powerlifting, right? So I could say my motivation is to be number one at the powerlifting competition. But in this sport, it doesn't matter, right? I could train the hardest, be as hard as I want, but if someone's stronger than me, they're going to be stronger than me. Yeah. So my goal is just get better every session, every workout, every day. That's it. That's what it is. There is no, I'm trained for this competition. So I can't use that as motivation, because no matter what, I'm going to show up and whatever happens is going to happen. So I don't use that as motivation.
And I definitely think having short-term, I think the long-term goal is obviously way more important than a short-term goal. Because there's some people who only had that short-term goal where, let's say your goal is just to do a show, powerlifting, bodybuilding, whatever it may be. And I've seen it plenty of times where a lot of these competitors, they'll do a show and then that's their short-term goal. And that's all they have is that one short-term. And then when they're done competing, they don't work out.
Yeah,
you get burnt out.
Yeah, you get burnt out. You lose that motivation and you don't want to do anything no more. Like, okay.
Well, that's human psychology, right? Like you have this end goal and you're putting all of your heart and your effort and your energy into this goal. And then once you reach it, then what? Like if you're not putting that same energy and effort into something else right away, then it's like, it's so easy to just regress. Like you're just falling into depression.
Yeah. And that's like the thing I get a lot. People are like, man, like, you just did a show. You just did like 3 competitions a year. Like, how you still motivated to go to the gym? Like, how you not tired? And I'm just like, well, I do competition as almost a hobby. Like, that's not why I work out. I compete because I work out. I don't work out to compete. Yeah. And I think that's a big, big problem with a lot of competitors, that they work out to compete.
Yeah, I think the problem with them is they always have that end goal. They always want to see themselves, whether it's bodybuilding or whatever type of competition, they want to see the trophies,
the accolades,
the accolades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want to be number one. But I think when that's your main goal, you're going to get burnt out.
Because that's a lot of extrinsic.
Yeah, you're always putting like a lot of stress on yourself too. And if you don't win, then what?
Yeah,
right.
And I'll see that too with a lot of competitors. Like they don't win the show and they're backstage or they're pissed off. You know, they're throwing their stuff and you know they're not in a good mood because they put so much in this competition and that's what their goal was. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to get the first place trophy or this and that. And when they don't achieve it, it like breaks them down and it destroys them. But vice versa, if they do achieve that goal, then that could lead to obviously more positive things, more positive impact. And then eventually they could develop a long-term goal based off that short-term goal. But it's like that is more rare, and it does happen to some people. Most people, it doesn't though.
So basically, what we're saying is you got to enjoy the process, right?
Enjoy the process and have that long-term goal. Yeah, and make sure that when you're done, that you have another goal in mind or something that you want to achieve. And that's why, like me, like if I lose a show, yeah, I'm a little bummed out because I lost, but it's not gonna divert me from the gym or not to work out no more. Like I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I'm gonna be back in the gym, in a few days after I rehydrate and rest, and now I'm back on my long-term goal. Just be the best I could be.
Yeah, and let's not just say that it's like competition or like working toward a specific goal is not all bad.
I'm speaking
it's really good too. Like if that's what drives somebody, if that's what kickstarts somebody, I think that's really powerful. Like I myself have never done like any kind of like physical competition related to weightlifting, but I think I would like to, because that would put like really specific timelines. That is what lets you create those like SMART goals, right? Like specific, measurable, like time specific, like where you have like day to day, like a schedule that you build in to like reach those goals, and you have metrics and things to measure. That's super motivating too. So it's not all bad to have like a competition as a goal.
When you mention it, when you put it that way, I guess for short term, I do it. I just don't think about it because I do follow a program. I do try to get stronger. I do try to get better. So I guess that would be kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
There is no competition, but you still have these little short term goals that's going to, be your long term goal in the future. You're going to reach your goal.
Yeah.
Tongue twister.
Yeah, goals.
Hashtag.
Goals.
Damn, I busted an Annie.
Okay. Fuck. You didn't say it right. Anyway.
So last podcast, Anabel had a few mess ups.
More than a few. It was like 4 different takes that we had to do. People were vacuuming. I didn't have my notes.
We had to cancel lunch because we couldn't get this one.
It was late at night. It was dinner, first of all. Anyway, so that's motivation. We all kind of think it's essential probably to kickstart.
I think it's required.
Our routine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's required.
Yes.
At least, there's no way you could do anything phenomenal or great without a little bit of motivation. Like you're not going to wake up just dedicated to a random thing. You need something to kickstart it.
Yeah, because also when you're new to something, you don't have that those habits ingrained yet. You're not going to be consistent. Because thinking back, when I first did my first, I'm gonna talk competition. My goal was to I wanted to win. That was my goal. Now it's not like that. It's just a part of me. It's just like, well, I want to keep lifting and I want to compete.
When you're ready, you're ready. Yeah,
I want to
exactly.
go compete.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking back too, if we're talking about when I first started working out, my motivation was short term. It was I want to look better. I I want to look better and show my exes like this is what you're missing out on. That's what I want to do. And I let them know.
And I'm
pretty sure they're regretting.
I'll let them know they are fucking missing out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Because why? Let's hear it. He wants to hear it.
Man,
he's blushing.
So Morgan put this deadlift video up yesterday, and I had to leave a comment on it, man.
It's beautiful.
He hit this angle with that tricep and those rear delts when he was deadlifting. I told him, like, man,
I read your I read your comment. You're like, you need to do bodybuilding.
Hey, he's my boy. Morgan's my boy. I'm gonna let him know. Hey, you look good.
Yeah, he wants you to bodybuild.
Right back at you.
Just bromance, just regular bromance type stuff. Ain't nothing weird like that.
I just sit back.
Bro. Man.
Back on that topic.
Okay, back on the topic.
Okay, so now let's talk about two different types of motivation. So intrinsic and extrinsic, or AKA internal and external motivation.
So we kind of just talked about it right now, right?
So a little bit, yeah. So I mean, but that's kind of what you have to have a little bit of both of, right? I think that's the important part. So you have external motivation. That's going to be like other people talking in your ear, those like podcasters, speakers, music. Yeah. Like a goal that you're working toward. But then you also have internal or intrinsic motivation too. So that's going to be like, I want to be healthy. I want to be in my 40s, 50s, 60s, lifting heavy weight, moving well. We see so many like super stark contrasts, right? Where like a 50-year-old woman and 50-year-old woman, like one that moves well, one that has been exercising and, eating well her whole life, and one that hasn't, like where they're
where her hips could move,
walkers, right? Yeah, they're in walkers.
Yeah,
I mean,
the human body could be completely on opposite sides of the spectrum at different ages.
We can't avoid one thing, that's aging and muscle atrophies. If you don't use it,
you lose it.
Boom.
I hope everybody said that at the same exact time listening.
Yeah. So we talked a little extrinsic. Do you guys have any intrinsic motivation that you use?
Yeah, I think that'll go into my story that I'll talk about.
Okay.
So let's talk about your story, Joseph. Is it intrinsic motivation, right?
No, this is the
intrinsic. Intrinsic.
Yeah. So
what's inside you? Your internals.
So my long-term internal motivation comes from just years back when I was a kid. So I kind of went into this on episode 1. We kind of talked about our intros, and I grew up overweight, unhealthy, and hating the way I look.
What ages are we talking? Like when you realize this?
Man, straight out the womb.
Like 9, 10, like when I started to realize it. Okay. I mean, growing up, I was always overweight. I was always the chubby kid, and the most brutal people out there are siblings, family, cousins, and brother, sister, and stuff like that.
Love.
Yeah, it's all tough love, but at the same time, I can never really say anything back because it was true. I was overweight. I was, the chubby, chunky kid, and I always hear the jokes and the teasing, and I would laugh about it, but I fucking hated it, because it was true, it was reality, and so I remember, as a kid, I would never want to take my shirt off in the pool. I would never want to do any of this because I knew I was going to get made fun of. And I'll never forget, around the age of 10 or 11, I actually started to get stretch marks on my stomach, on my hips and the left hand area. And I'll never forget, I bawled my head off, man, for days. And I was giving this some thought the other day. Whenever I found out we were doing the topic of motivation, I was thinking about what motivates me? What is the reason why I just can't stop working out? And the reason is because I will never forget those moments. Those moments are so ingrained in my head of me looking in the mirror, and 10, 11 years old, like traumatic experiences at even younger ages than that, you'll never forget. And for me, that was traumatic experiences. I will never forget those emotions I went through, the things I used to think about myself, and just thinking why is this me? Why am I going through this? Why am I the oddball out in the family? And I hated it. And I'll never forget those emotions and those moments. And, at the age of 13, that's when I started to work out, and about, 2 years later, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just knew I had to move. And so I started to work out, lift weights. We had some, some weights in my garage. I kind of, spoke on this a little bit on episode 1. And I would just bust my ass in there for hours just because I just hated the way I looked. I hated it. And then when I started seeing results, that's when I started getting addicted. And then the jokes stopped happening. I stopped getting teased, and I was like, all right, this feels better now. I started to get a little bit more self-confidence. And so around the age of about 18 and a half, almost 19, I stopped working out for almost a year, almost exactly. I just got lazy. Just got lazy. I started eating bad. I stopped working out. And then I started to develop anxiety really bad.
This was after high school?
This was after high school.
Okay.
After high school. And so I guess that might be the reason of me being like a little bit more secluded, not seeing so many people. You know, I graduated, so I was like working. So, you know, life kind of just like started to happen. And so I developed really bad social anxiety. I started to get panic attacks, anxiety attacks. And I remember when I got my first one, I thought I was having a heart attack. And I went to the hospital. They took me to an EKG machine. They had to check my heart. And they're like, oh, like, it just seems like you're just having an anxiety attack. And I go, what the hell is anxiety? Like, what the hell is that? Like, I had no idea what that was, because obviously this was, you know, 10, 11 years ago, before mental health was as spoke on as it is now. And I didn't want to get on medication because I felt that was weak. And I felt like, no, like me on medication, like daily, like that's what they suggested. And I was like, no, I don't want to put these chemicals in my body, this and that. So I went back home, and it got to the point where I wouldn't want to leave my house because I was embarrassed the way I looked, because I got overweight again. I'll never forget, one day I was washing my car outside, and I seen a guy I went to high school with, and he goes, "Dang, man, you let yourself go." And this was in the middle of all this happening. And I'm just like, oh, just life, I didn't know what to say. And that like just amplified everything that I was feeling. And it kind of brought back all those memories whenever I was a kid and I would struggle with myself and take my shirt off. I was starting to hate the way I look. And, the relationship I was in at the time started to take a hit as well, because my social anxiety was so bad. I couldn't even walk into a store without feeling like I was being enclosed and feeling like this, what's it called? Like when you feel like you're in a box, claustrophobic. Exactly. I couldn't and I would just start to panic, start to sweat. Like I couldn't even leave the house sometimes. I would just be stuck in my room. I wouldn't want to do anything. And it got so bad that I was like, I think I do need to be on medication. So I went back to the doctors and I told them, I was like, just give me the lowest dose possible. And I don't even remember what they put me on. You figure it's like I said, 10, 11 years ago. And so they put me on this medication and I started to feel better. And I started to have less panic attacks. And I used the medication to be able to go back in the gym, because I wasn't even able to go in the gym. I would go in there and feel like I was going to pass out because my anxiety would get so bad. And I would have to leave. So my heart rate would get so high that I couldn't work out. Like it was just horrible. And so I started taking the medication, started to feel better. And I used it to get myself back in the gym. And so I got back in the gym. I was able to work out finally. I was able to socialize with people again. And I wanted to heal myself. And I knew that fitness is a cure for a lot of this anxiety and depression, because that's what it started to develop into, was depression, because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even hang out at family parties. I would purposely avoid them. I didn't want to be around people. Like I started to seclude myself, isolate myself. Exactly. And so people don't really think this, because I'm a pretty outgoing person now. And after about 6 months of taking the medication consistently, and the doctors told me it's addictive and this and that, I started to wean myself off of it. And because I was able to be back in the gym consistently, I started to feel better about myself. I started to get back in shape. I had a buddy who opened up a boot camp gym, and he would be like, "Hey man, like," I told him like my situation. He goes, "If you want, you could come when I'm the only one here in between classes, and you could just work out by yourself." And I was like, "Oh dude, that'd be awesome." That's what I did. And so I would do that every single morning around 7 a.m. I would go in there, just work out by myself. I couldn't be around people when I first started. And so I started to feel better. Then I started to join some of the classes during the week, and that started to bring out my personality more, started to get more social with people. And then from there on, it kind of started to grow. And then it goes into my story of me turning 20 years old when I got with a nutritionist, and I told her, "Hey, I want to fix my nutrition." And that's the reason why, because I knew I was ready to make that next step. So she fixed my nutrition. I fixed my nutrition, and I started to fix myself. And so after 6 months of taking the pills, I started to wean myself off of taking them 7 days a week to 5 days a week to 3 days a week to just once a week, to eventually never taking them again. And since the age of 20 years old, I've never taken an anxiety pill ever again in my life. And anxiety is one of those things that never 100% ever goes away. So I still have an anxiety attack, probably like once a year, if that. It'll happen kind of here and there during weird moments. Sometimes I'll wake up just having one, who knows, bad dreams, something like that. But now I know how to control it. I know that it's not going to take over my life again. And I credit fitness to my long-term goal for my motivation, because I never want to go through that again in my life. That was such a dark time of not being able to be who I was that I refuse to ever let that happen again. And so that is my long-term motivation, is I would never let myself get unhealthy again, to which I'm hating myself and to which I have to seclude myself from the people I love. Yeah. So this story, I don't think I've ever spoken about it. So I feel like now is a great time, because I know there's people out there that struggle with the same thing, especially nowadays. It's being a lot more openly spoken of. And if you're listening, if you're going through the same situations, it's okay to get help. It's totally okay to get help. It's okay to take those steps to get yourself better and become the person you know who you're supposed to be. And don't let a mental illness stop you from loving and enjoying life. Find a way to fix yourself. Through me, I had to take that medication in order to better myself, and then I weaned myself off. So make sure you guys are taking the necessary steps. And that's the thing, you got to take those steps though. Like, you're not gonna wake up one morning and it's just gonna go away. That's the sucky part, and then I think that's what I was waiting for. I was like, maybe if I just sleep, I'll wake up one morning and it'll be gone. And it never came. And so I was like, all right, I got to take this in my own hands. I need to handle my life the way I need to.
Okay, so first of all,
yeah,
hopefully we can hit on a couple of these things, because thank you for sharing, because that's like really brave. A lot of people don't know like that.
Got me sweating.
People don't know how powerful it is to just be connected to somebody else that has gone through similar situations. So you just sharing that. And then second, so because you mentioned doctors had to prescribe to recommend medication, you right off the bat were not into it, like you weren't trying to do it, but which, like, kudos to you, because that's the easy thing, is to just be like, okay, this doctor says they can give me this pill and this could fix me, so let me just give me what you can.
Right.
But you knew you didn't want to do something that you had to take daily, routinely, to fix the issue that you thought you had.
Yeah, and they never suggested fitness. They never suggested, hey, try changing your diet. Hey, try exercising.
Yeah.
They never suggested
and that's
that.
the thing about, like, so a lot of people bash on like medical doctors because of that, because their practice is medicine and they understand chemistry and the chemistry that happens in your body, like your biochemistry, right? So they understand what medications, whether they're natural or not, because they develop synthetic, like drugs that are going to help you deal with cognitive, like mental illnesses or what have you. But it's so powerful that they have been able to introduce that. But at the same token, not every doctor has the time or the education or the knowledge to be able to be like, well, here's this medication that I studied and I know everything about, but here's also a couple options with fitness and nutrition that can help you, or meditation, or whatever else that they are able to recommend. So that's really cool that you, kind of like instinctually almost, right? Because you were young, like knew that you knew you could find different ways, natural ways to kind of help yourself out. So it's pretty crazy. Thanks for sharing. That's great. I had no idea.
Man.
Yeah.
Right. You went from being depressed to being number 2 in the world.
Yeah.
You guys joke about that, but that's powerful. Being in like a competition, that's, pretty cool. And like how you were saying too, like kids, like they don't have, because our topic is motivation. So they don't have all of those like mechanisms and gears in their mind already, like ready to go. Like they don't know what they're motivated by or what they're not motivated by. So that's why when we were talking about like the cultural influence, like they know what they see their parents go through and understand and know. So if somebody like a child is developing like those crucial developmental, that's why like you don't wholly have like a complete control over your mind when you're developing and growing, because not everything's there. Like neuroplasticity, that's like the thing that you want. Like you want these like new connections in your brain develop. That's what's like when you go through school, when you go through all these things that are going to develop your mind. But if you don't have like somewhere to kind of give you direction, either with parents or like older siblings or just anything external, then you don't know what to do, or you don't know why you're feeling the way you're feeling. You don't know how to feel. That's psychology. I'm not an expert, but it's interesting. Like I've studied it a little bit, but like those developmental years are so crucial. Like if you're feeling or bullied, like when you're younger, like that takes a hit, that takes a toll on a lot of people. So
yeah. And even when I was going to that, like I didn't want to tell anybody. Like I think the only person I really knew was like my brother and my mom. I think my sister, I think she kind of knew a little bit too, but I didn't want to talk about it because I felt like it was weak. You know, I felt like it was like it was just my issue, my problem. I didn't want to like have other people like dwell on it or make it feel like I didn't want people to baby me about it. Like, oh man, like, hey, how you feeling today? Are you okay?
You're just making excuses.
Yeah, I didn't want that. Yeah, and I didn't want that either. Like people were like, because there's people who don't believe anxiety is real. Like, hey, man, calm down, man.
Because I've never experienced it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like that too before I had anxiety. Like, then again, I didn't know what anxiety was around that time either. Like
and it's defined 18, now. 19. Like it wasn't defined like when we were kids. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I mean, I'm older than both of you, but it wasn't super like defined. So we didn't know like this feeling of like I don't know what to, like I'm sweating. Like, and it's not just in your mind, right? Like it manifests in your body. You're sweating. You're like your heart rate's elevated. You're not
shortness of breath. Yeah, tight
you
chest,
can't like think clearly. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's all these things. Yeah,
your mind almost goes into like a fog. Like it's hard to really focus on one thing. It's hard to. It's such a weird thing to kind of explain. But I don't want this to go too much onto mental health, just because our topic is more motivation based. But yeah, I feel like long term.
But let's just say like, just because you touched on it, like everybody has mental health that they're responsible for. So everybody's like a degree.
It's good to be empathetic with people and try to understand people just in general, because like your story, people didn't know what was going on, but everyone has something going on, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of leads to why they want to do something, like what's their goal. That's kind of what motivates them. We all have that, whatever it might be. Like you were overweight, then you got anxiety. So someone else might have a different kind of motivation, but I think everyone should be empathetic to that. I know it's a little bit off topic, but just because, I don't know, I have a problem with people that swear their life is perfect, and then someone's going through stuff and they're just bashing them, you know, making them feel worse. But at the end of the day, everybody has something going on. So you just got to remind yourself of what you personally have going on in your life, and like chill.
Yeah.
Don't make it worse for someone else.
Yeah, no, 100%. I completely agree with that.
So what motivates you intrinsically? Did we touch on that?
I think we did.
We did?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah. A little bit. Like health.
That was the first thing you talked about that. Yeah, you're just health.
Yeah. I mean, it's
so
she
threw it up. She caught it, brought it back down.
So much so that like, I mean, it's something that I was super like interested in, like in the, okay, why are some people when they're 60 and 70, like bedridden, when other people are 60 and 70 are like thriving? Like that was super interesting to me, which is the reason why I chose that as like a degree, like things to study. And
so I just want to, now that I'm thinking about it, so you talked about long term, right? What motivated you initially in the beginning? What were your dark?
So, okay, so similar, I guess, because I've never been like skinny. I've never been like a skinny kid. So I was always like a little bit on the thicker side, but I've always been an athlete. So, which kind of helped me. Like, when I was little, my mom, she tried to put me in cheerleading and I was not having that. But then when she put me in soccer, like that was my thing. So I loved being in soccer, and I didn't like initially being like the slowest girl or the slowest kid on the team. And I didn't like being like not like scoring goals and developing my skills. I mean, at the time I was like little, but still like I understood like, okay, I need to put this like work in to try to get myself better. I've always had like big legs, even like in elementary school. So I would have kids that would be like, oh, you have big legs. Like they would just say that. And like, I guess I did take it like a little personally, like that's rude, but like I always was like, well, and luckily for me, I mean, I guess I had my coach who always, because I was always small. Like I'm always like the smallest kid on the team, the smallest, like I was like a little, like what do you call those like little doggies that are like
puppy poodles?
I don't know.
Chihuahuas? Shibas?
Yeah, whatever. Bulldogs. All of that. I was always little. So, but my coach always was like, oh, Anabel, like dynamite comes in small packages. I was like, boom. I was like, yes, they do. Yeah. and I had such a powerful kick. I mean, like I was never goalies. Goalie's scary, but I was always like defense or halfback because I had really good endurance. I'm not super fast because I have a short stride. So, but I had really good like endurance. Like I could run for hours and hours and hours, and I had a really strong kick. So if I was playing defense, I could get the ball up to my halfbacks and my forwards who can score. So, I mean, but to that, I mean, like my self-confidence was like still like a little bit like on the line. So getting into like health and being athletic and playing sports was like, that was part of my driver for that. But then obviously like when I got into high school and like middle school and high school, like when you're like growing and like you're getting interested in boys or whatever, I don't know.
Ew.
So you want to, I know, ew.
Cooties.
They have cooties. You do have cooties. You still do.
Tim's at home right now, like,
Yeah.
I don't have cooties.
Yeah. No, I don't. But yeah, so like you want to look a certain way and you want to like be a certain way. So, I mean, because of like wanting to look a specific way, like I shifted from playing soccer in high school to like running cross country because I thought I wanted to like, okay, cardio was going to get me like long and lean muscle, which we know now that's not destined
Yeah,
for me.
your
I'm not
genetics are your
destined for that. Yeah.
genetics.
Yeah. I'm always going to have thunder thighs, always. But that was like part of my motivation too. So, I mean, I guess I can say like self-confidence and like being like, like insecure about certain, like, especially my legs. Let me just say like outright, like my whole entire lower body, like I was insecure about, but now like, I mean, like I really learned to like appreciate like yeah, like I'm like they're powerful.
Thanks to social
Do
media.
you even squat, bro?
Yeah.
Social media, you got like you think with like 4 C's.
Yeah. So I mean now it's a thing, but like it wasn't before,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
models didn't look like what I look like.
Mm-hmm.
They still don't.
That's
They're a
the
little
crazy thing,
taller,
too,
but
like,
like
The body
culture
has changed
shifts
so much. Yeah.
Culture shifts so much of what we like, and like what we see on magazines and what we see like in social media, that's what we end up liking. But the good thing is now we're so exposed to so many different body types, and there's something for everybody out there. So people could find what they like and are able to get more of that like on their phone, like on a screen on their phone. So
And to touch a little off topic, like the
Nasty.
social acceptance, the social acceptance has changed so much. Because like I said, when I was a kid, being overweight was like the oddball, and like if you're skinny, then that's normal. It's not really the case too much anymore. Like so many people, so like obviously the percentage of obesity in America is at the all-time high. That being obese now is the normal thing, and now being fit is kind of like, hey,
now you're the oddball.
yeah, oh, is today your cheat meal? Like,
Yeah, that could be another conversation.
It's like, dang,
you
what the heck?
get
I know,
bashed. They're
I
like,
know,
oh, now
yeah.
you're packing your
yeah,
meals.
yeah, like a little off topic, but like the social
No,
acceptance has changed.
Annabelle
Like,
doesn't eat that.
go figure.
there's
Like,
all these
I go and
things.
get fit, and everybody else is overweight. And I'm like, hey guys, I came here to join you guys, and you guys switch it up on me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so that's intrinsic, extrinsic. Do you have intrinsic motivation? Did you talk about
I think I said just long-term goal.
this though? That was
I mean, that was like a slight.
It's like a-
It's just like
little.
1 month. Only.
Yeah, name them off.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Just 1 month.
Because
Just
I made sure they
1
knew
month,
for
and then I
that
got
whole
over that. I was
month.
like, whatever.
I mean,
She's
Drake
missing out
Yeah.
anyway.
thinks his exes in his songs. He can name right now in the podcast.
No, I guess I guess we talked about this in the first
In the first
podcast as
episode,
well.
yeah.
It's just always being Anabel. You'll feel me being the the smaller person in the room. You know, always being small. So, in the same way, I would get bullied because of my height, and I wanted just to get stronger, feel better about myself. So it was kind of like a just confidence thing, being insecure. You know, that's no longer the issue.
Now you're number 2 in the world.
Yeah, now I'm number
Oh,
3.
man, shut up. Man. Just take that.
But yeah, so I guess it's just same thing. Self-confidence, image, what I would see in the mirror, I wouldn't be happy, and then just having that sense of pride in something, able to be like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at lifting weights and getting stronger, and I could get better. That's what motivated me.
Yeah. The motivation, man, it's real.
Mhm.
It's real, and it's key.
And that's why I said earlier too, like just having empathy for others, because I could say I don't really talk about it much, but I went through like a lot through my younger years. So whenever people tell me stuff, I like to listen. Like, okay, I feel you. I don't understand what you're going through,
Mhm.
but I understand what I went through, and it's kind of the same.
Yeah, and just listen. Just listen and be empathetic towards people, the people you care about. But to go more into like external motivation,
I think we could touch on subjects like, so what could be some steps to helping people
get motivated
that want to get motivated? What would be some strategies
so
we could provide?
YouTube videos. Look at some motivational speakers and just see what clicks. Look up some business ones on motivation. Look up fitness ones on motivation. Have some people fucking yell at you once in your life, but in a good way.
I would say another thing could be finding someone that's like you.
Okay, maybe
someone that's
friend,
already
spouse,
friend, or someone that you look up to. Because everyone has someone that, you know, this is another word people hate on, you know, inspire. Someone inspires you, you know, but it's true. Like we all look up to someone. Yeah, you see someone, you're like, man, I would like to be like them or be kind of like them. So try to find someone that maybe you could go to the gym with,
and don't make it creepy. Don't walk up to somebody like, oh, I want to be like you. Don't do that.
Or do whatever.
Or do
no,
it.
just kidding.
You know,
that'd be kind of cool if somebody told me that.
I'd be like, what?
Yeah, so I think that would be find a partner. I guess that's what I'm saying. Find a partner to keep you accountable and to go into the gym or eating right or whatever your goals are.
Yeah. And I mean, if we're talking external and finding like a partner, I think that's super powerful. So just like, it doesn't have to be necessarily like a workout buddy, but just surrounding yourself with people who prioritize like working out and prioritize eating healthy. That's only going to make it easier for you. Like even though I don't necessarily have like a gym buddy or someone that I go regularly, that someone that could like spot me or anything, but sometimes we're on there. Like right now we happen to be on like a similar schedule, but like when I'm not, or like when I was in school, like it was super like powerful still knowing that like, okay, all my friends that work out, like you guys and like Tim and whoever, like they already went to the gym, they got their workout in. Okay, so like I can still do it. Like I still have time. So just surrounding yourself with like external people that can motivate you to like just you see what they're doing, see how they're growing, and you want to do that too.
I think getting in that circle of people that you want to be like is important. And because you kind of, I mean, it's real. You got to kind of exclude the people that are not in that place that you want to be in, because or else you're never gonna change.
You're never gonna
like,
grow.
right, you're kind of like there's like that saying, you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with.
Yeah, and it's
so,
true. It's real.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. If you're around 5 people who are lazy, eat bad, and drink, you're probably going to be lazy, eat bad, and drink.
Yeah.
But if you're around 5 people who have successful businesses and they work out and they take care of their bodies, you're probably going to look into something that has to do with business and work out and, you know, start eating better. So 100%, that's true. And there's a quote I love. It says, if you want to fly with the eagles, you got to stop hanging out with the turkeys. And if you're thinking,
I was like, oh, America.
Yeah, America. But it's true though. Like, if you're thinking about it, like, are you an eagle or are you a turkey? Who are the people you're hanging around with? You know, like, and it basically comes down to be around people who are going to bring out your potential.
Yeah, it just has to do with like surrounding yourself with like goodness. Like when you're not feeling your best and when you're not feeling motivated or super like driven, like you have all these like external things that are feeding into you. Like it's empowering you. Just like even if it isn't like something you could like substantial, like other people, like educating yourself, like how you said, YouTube videos or like watching different things, like just like empowering yourself, like learning about exercise, learning about nutrition. Like, why do so many people promote this and encourage this? What is it going to do for me? Why is it so good for me? Like just knowing that and like feeding your mind with that information, that's external motivation that can, you know, shift your energies, shift your vibe.
Yeah. Big vision, small steps.
Small steps, big vision.
Yeah.
What's another thing you guys could add?
Easy music. I mean, there's like little things that can motivate, right? Like
boom, easy
music. Make sure you have a nice outfit. Like these are like simple motivational factors. Obviously, they're not going to give you long-term motivation, but they're things that could just help you get going for the day at least. Like if you're just a little tired, a little worn out, make sure you have your workout playlist ready. Make sure you have a nice outfit picked out. But the whole outfit thing, I think that's powerful, because if I know I just got some new gear, or if I have an outfit that's matching, I want to go show it off a little bit.
Yeah. Like when you shift from talking about motivation to those habits, like that's when we start talking about rituals, right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, I'm getting my mind ready. Like I'm picking
Mhm.
my outfit. Like I know these pairs of pants or shorts like flatter me. Like if I'm going to squat, like this is not going to stop it, Morgan. Like if I know like I'm going to look good, I'm going to feel better. Like I'm
Mhm.
going to feel good.
And
Same thing
what's
with
that thing
like
called that you do?
like a dry scoop
There you go.
of pre-workout. So I mean, if that's part of your ritual, which it happens to be mine, like I almost always take some sort of pre-workout if it's late at night, which it usually is. Like it's not always going to be caffeinated, but it's going to be something flavored that I drink that I like, that sets my mind, like along with music. Like if I have to like do a little dance session, like whatever it is. Yeah. How?
Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to be getting crazy on her IG stories with her dry scoop. She always has music playing, all that funness.
If I'm going to be honest.
Okay, let's talk about
visualization. So, I mean, this is like
So
human
right now,
psyche,
guys, I want
right?
everybody. I want everybody to close
shit.
their eyes.
Oh, we're doing this.
Oh,
Everybody.
shit.
He said he was gonna do this, and I think we're actually gonna do it. Here we go.
Everybody close their eyes. Probably to all the listeners out there.
Oh,
you,
my gosh.
and you can't see me here. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no! I thought you were about to say something crazy. You set it up like I was ready to go through some mantras.
I thought you were about to get real deep right now. And you handed off to Annie. She was like falling asleep on the mic.
She wasn't ready.
Okay.
Let's talk about,
Go
because I
ahead.
think you brought this up initially, right? Like visualization, like if you, okay, like when it comes to making like decisions, like when you're talking about like, maybe I'm not that motivated, but I'm trying to make these decisions and make these decisions that are going to create these habits. Like I'm going to visualize, like instead of like having what I really want, like I'm going to go out for froyo or a burger or whatever it is, like I'm going to eat the food that I can prepare at home or eat something that's going to be like in line with my goals, because I'm visualizing that 3 months from now, I could be at this specific, X, like name the goal. And same thing with like a workout. Like I could go home after a 10, 12, 14-hour day and I can just lay down. I can knock out right away. Like, let me just wash my face, brush my teeth, and I could be out. But if I skip this workout, which I have the energy for, I have, the drive to do, then I can go to the gym and like 2-3 months from now, maybe even like a week or two from now, I can be X amount stronger or X amount, feeling a certain type of way. So
basically, like if you do it, you'll get the results you want.
yeah.
Yeah. And like, great example. Last night I was at the gym. I worked out. I was supposed to do abs afterwards. I didn't want to do abs. And I was so close to leaving. And I go, you know what? Let me do this ab workout because I know what I want. And I know this is what I got to do to get what I want. And so I went and I did it. And I felt so much better after. But I did not want to do it because I was right at the gym for a long time.
It's so powerful.
And I just got to do it on legs. So I was exhausted. So I didn't want to do abs. And I was like, man, I'll stop being lazy.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Okay, so I mean, I think it's powerful. Like visualization, like really has to do with just starting your goal, starting your journey, starting whatever it is with the end in mind. Like I think there's a book, Start with the End in Mind, or there's like a step of a book where like if you don't have a direction or anywhere that you're going toward, like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a strict, specific, time sensitive goal, but if you're not moving towards something, then it kind of like, it's hard to get the ball rolling toward that.
So give us a little bit of keynotes that we could take away from this episode.
So like a synopsis, right? We're doing a breakdown. Okay, so today we talked about motivation. We defined it. We kind of shared that motivation has a lot to do with like our biology, like our psychology. It has that like, what do we call it? Like instinctual, what is it? Instinct theory. We all kind of agree that it's real. Like it's definitely not something that's just, motivation isn't real, but we all agree, I think, that it's a step into habits and disciplines and setting up a routine.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. So motivation gets you going, but it shouldn't be what you depend on.
Yeah. So
all the time.
Yes. There's intrinsic. So the stuff that motivates you inside in your gut and your heart. and extrinsic, the stuff that you bring in from the outside to
And social media,
Yes.
culture, all that
Trophies.
stuff.
Boom, trophies,
accolades,
yeah. And then we talked about some of our strategies, like some of the things that work for us, like so music, having rituals, like
goal setting.
supplements, goal setting, making it smart.
Awesome
If
friends,
you have,
groups.
I was just gonna say, if you have a workout buddy, kind of being on the same page with them, and finally, like visualization, right? So you always want to have like something that you're motivated toward, or something that you're motivated, a motive, right? Like that was part of the definition. So a motive toward moving toward.
So I don't think we kind of explained that pretty good. Visualization. Did we?
You know, that was the last time we kind of
just, I mean-
I think it was pretty
people got
pretty
the
big.
gist.
So I think another way to think about it is
I think, you had really good
I think
examples.
A way to think about it is, I just thought of this right now. It's mind blowing. Maybe
Mm.
maybe you guys feel this or not. But
Oof.
so we all have a vision, long term vision, and they're kind of like dreams, right? You dream about things. So yeah, you guys got to close your eyes. You got to visualize
eyes.
this.
Oh my
I
God.
love
Okay, so
when
I'm
he
gonna play
does
this as you're a beginner
My
to the
body's
gym.
ready.
You're a beginner to the gym, right? So this is for motivation. I don't want you guys to be too hard on yourselves and just take action and get going. This is your first thought. I'm new to the gym. I'm not going yet, but I want to, right? So I'm just thinking about this. I haven't taken any action to go to the gym. The next day, you wake up, you're like, you know what? Today, I'm gonna take the first step. I took some action. You go to the gym and you sign up. Now you're a gym member. Proud member of X gym, whatever it might be. Not XXX, but X gym.
Planet
Right.
24.
To get in there. And then you might be like,
Wait, you
you
don't
might-
have your eyes closed?
yeah, you guys gotta have your eyes closed.
Oh, dang,
I'm in the zone. I'm in the
I'm
zone.
looking
I'm in
at
the
more.
zone. I'm in the
I was
zone.
listening
looking to his
the
eyes.
rules.
And then you might be like a Joseph. You go in there and you have anxiety because you don't know what you're doing. You're like, oh man, look at these people. They're buff. Some are not so buff, but I just have anxiety. I don't know what I'm doing. So you leave. Next week, you come back and you hop on the treadmill and you feel good about yourself. You're dropping some calories. So you're winning already.
You get some endorphins.
Yeah, you already took a step forward. You're winning. The next day you come back, you hit the treadmill again, but instead of going 10, 15 minutes, you hit 30 minutes. It's another step forward. Then eventually you start working out. You hit the weights. You want to get stronger. You keep hitting more weights. You want to get a little bit more serious. Let's take Joseph again as an example. You get yourself a trainer or a nutritionist to kind of guide you. And then you just start creating these habits. You no longer depend on motivation to get in there. You're already in a zone. You're already in a flow. So you're already winning. If you look back, you weren't going before. You were outside of the gym. You were outside looking in, but now you're inside. And you're taking steps toward your goal. I think that's what we're talking about, visualization. So looking at where you want to be in the future, what steps you're taking, and how you're going to get there. I think that's good.
I like that shit, Morgan.
Yeah.
I feel pumped. Let's go lift.
Mic drop.
I love it. Does anyone want to close us out?
And with that,
I don't know what to
ladies
do
and
right now.
gentlemen,
I'm so motivated.
with that,
I
ladies
know.
and gentlemen, I think Joseph, you could close us out.
Hey, but one more thing. Handle that shit. Say it.
Own
Who's
that
saying-
shit.
Own that
Own
shit.
Own that shit.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next episode.
Peace.
See ya.